Chapter 1. The Encounter. The fleet snapped out of FTL without warning. The transition was never gentle, but this one felt like the universe had grabbed the hull and shaken it. Klaxons wailed through Galactica's CIC warning lights strobed red over consoles and faces. Voices rose, clipped and sharp, as stations confirmed they were still alive and still together. Dradis contact, Gator called. Stationary and no transponder. Weak energy signature, but no drive plume. The plot settled as the sensors finished reacquiring. A single contact sat just outside the screen, close enough to matter and quiet enough to be a problem. Commander William Adama leaned in over the rail. The CIC held itself together by habit. No wasted words, no wide eyes, no one giving fear room to breathe. Range? Adama asked. Close enough to be a trap, Colonel Tai said immediately. His tone didn't invite debate. They leave things. We take the bait. President Laura Roslin stood off to the side, guarded and quiet, watching the plot the way someone watched a sealed door. Gator didn't look up from his console. It's not reading like a ship, sir. The return is fixed, and the profile's too clean. Looks like a structure on the surface. Adama leaned closer. Show me. Gator brought the filter stack online and sharpened the model. The shape snapped into something the CIC could understand. A ring. Small body, Gator said, voice steady now that the data had a form. Moon by mass. Cold. No drive signature, no broadcast. Just a weak energy trace and a stationary object. Tai let out a short, joyless breath. Great. A dead moon with an alien hoop on it. Adama didn't argue with the suspicion. He just kept his eyes on the plot. We're going to look. Tai's jaw tightened. Sir. We're going to look, Adama repeated, calm and final. 1 Raptor. 2 Vipers on escort. Tight comms. You observe. You don't touch. Acknowledgements came back fast. Roslin moved to Adama's side and kept her voice low, not for drama but because the CIC didn't need another spark. Something built on a dead moon, sitting there like it wants to be found. After everything we've been through, it's hard not to think it matters. Adama's answer came back just as quietly. Thinking it matters doesn't keep us alive. Information does. Adama's gaze shifted to the pilot near the ready table. Carl. Captain Carl Halo Agathon straightened. Sir. You take the Raptor. Halo felt the assignment settle into his shoulders like a pack. Yes, sir. Adama's voice sharpened. If it feels wrong, you leave. No heroics. Understood. Halo turned for the hatch. Behind him, Galactica and the fleet held formation in the dark like they were bracing for impact. The Raptor's cockpit was familiar in the way a foxhole was familiar. Tight, warm with electronics, and full of recycled air. Halo strapped in and ran checks by muscle memory. Raptor 312, ready for launch. 312, cleared, came the reply. Vipers on your wing. 2 Vipers slid into position. 1 rocked once, impatient and cocky. Starbuck, Halo muttered. Her voice came through with a grin she didn't have to show. Try to keep up, Halo. Try not to get bored, he said. I only do dumb things when they're necessary, she replied. Or fun. Galactica fell away behind them, a slab of armored survival drifting through black. The fleet stayed tight and wary, as if it was afraid to blink. The moon ahead was ugly and silent, cratered and grey. There was no atmosphere and no light beyond starlight, nothing but rock and shadow. Surface scan. Halo asked. A console beeped. No active emissions. Radiation baseline. Temperature near absolute. Dead, Halo said. Dead is good, Starbuck replied. Dead doesn't shoot. Halo didn't answer. Dead moons didn't build rings. They crossed into the crater's shadow and the structure came into view, a massive circle of stone metal half buried in dust. It wasn't colonial and it wasn't Cylon, and it didn't look like anything that belonged in a sane universe. Starbuck's voice lost some of its attitude. That is not natural. Halo brought the raptor down near the crater edge. Thrusters flared. Dust lifted in slow arcs under low gravity and hung longer than it should have. The ramp dropped. Halo stepped onto grey dust that clung like ash. 2 Marines followed, rifles up, visors reflecting the crater's dim light. Chief Galen Tyrell came after them in a suit lamp halo, moving like the only thing in the fleet more stubborn than physics. Tyrell's voice came through comms, dry as sand. "I'm here to look and not touch, right?" "That's the plan," Halo said. Above them, Starbuck's Viper passed overhead. "Perimeter looks clean. Which means I'm bored, which means I'm suspicious." Halo led them down into the crater. The ring got bigger with every step, its surface pitted and smooth at the same time, like it had been waiting a long time and never bothered to die properly. At the base, an opening yawned, a cut tunnel descending under the ring. Tyrell crouched, light sweeping the edges. This was made. Not erosion. Not collapse. Somebody cut this. One of the Marines shifted his grip. "Facility." "In my experience," Starbuck said, "anything that looks like a facility is a trap until proven otherwise." Halo didn't disagree. "We go in. Quick sweep. No lingering." The tunnel was cold and silent. Their lamps carved narrow cones through the dark. The walls looked like metal and stone fused together, seamless in places where seams should have been. Deeper in, Halo felt a vibration under his boots. It wasn't sound, not exactly. It felt more like pressure, like standing near a running engine behind a bulkhead. They reached a chamber. The ring's curve continued here, anchored into the floor. Recessed channels ran along the walls like conduits that once carried power. There were no screens, no obvious controls, nothing that looked like a console. Tyrell scanned slowly. No interfaces. Halo stepped closer, light glancing off the ring's inner edge. "What is it?" one Marine asked. Tyrell angled his lamp lower. Coupling points sat near the base, modular sockets. Not Colonial. Not Cylon. Something meant to be connected and disconnected. Something meant to be fed. Tyrell held the light there. "That's not decoration." Halo felt his pulse jump. "Can you interface it?" Tyrell looked at him through helmet glass. "You want me to feed colonial power into an unknown device while the Cylons are hunting us?" "That's not what I..." "It's what it is," Tyrell cut in, no anger, just truth. "I can rig a governor. Minimal feed. If it draws hard, I cut. If it does anything weird, we run." Halo keyed his MIC Galactica, Raptor 312. "We are in an engineered chamber beneath the structure. No movement. No emissions. Found power coupling points. Request guidance." Adama's reply came after a breath. "Do nothing unless you can do it controlled." Ty cut in, harsh. "You energize it, you paint a target on us." Halo stared at the couplers. Controlled meant minimal. Minimal meant a test, not a commitment. He looked at Tyrell. "A sip. Then we cut." Tyrell's jaw tightened. Then he nodded once, like a man stepping into fire because someone had to. "On your mark." He set the power unit, ran a cable, improvised an adapter with careful hands. He didn't move like a scientist. He moved like damage control, fast and methodical, making safety out of scraps. "Governor online," Tyrell said. "I can give it a sip." Halo took a breath. "Do it." Tyrell flipped the switch. For a heartbeat. Nothing happened. Then the ring answered. Light ran around the inside in segmented bursts, symbols or nodes firing in a pattern Halo couldn't read. The hum deepened. The pressure in the room shifted, like the chamber had gained weight.